Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support.
Would affect you. Today we're going to keep it a little bit lighter and talk about, although it's still serious, because we're talking about water use, and we've got our water challenge going on here at the So yesterday we were talking about the fire situation and watching the scene in Greenville, California, where 95% of the West in some form of drought. I mean, at least severe drought.
Yeah, and for a lot of places, it's not getting much better.
Yeah.
Some places it is getting better, and we're thankful for the monsoonal rains that we have seen, because last year we really didn't get much of anything, but you can still see a lot of that maroon, which is the highest level on that map.
So you might not be in the exceptional or extreme drought, but we still have drought all across the state of Arizona, and there's this tiny bit of New Mexico that's not in it. Now, the fires we have burning, 4 more have been added since yesterday, and you can see where they are up here into Idaho, in Montana, in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, and that's where we have not had any rain.
And of course, there's not a whole lot of rain in the forecast. We're worrying about the dry thunderstorms when we do finally get the rain. Now, the Dixie Fire, the cause still unknown, but it started July 13th, and you can see how many acres have already burned here, more than 300,000. That is a huge fire, and it's only 35% contained.
It's now our 6th largest, actually, in California history, so you can see where it ranks on the list compared to some other notorious ones. The August Complex here, hard to beat that, but in terms of acreage burned. But you take a look, and I remember talking about the LNU Lightning Complex fire just last year, the Creek Fire last year as well. What's notable is how all of these have just happened in the last 3 to 4 years.
Look at the years on this. Very, very recent. Most of them outside of the 2018 fire have happened within the last
2 years.
Yeah, so really, really troubling times there. And then the problem also is that we're not seeing this improve a whole lot. We're seeing the drought, and then we've got the red flag conditions continuing. So you already have the fires burning, and then you're exacerbating that with the fact that the conditions are continuing.
The wind's a big factor. So we have the system coming in, which, by the way, brought rain to Seattle. Your dry streak is over. It wasn't much, but you got something up there. But that system that has come in is now actually making it windier, and that's going to the reason why you have those red flag warnings. We're not going to get a ton of moisture out of this into the areas where the fires are burning right now. It's not the season to do that.
Yeah, no, it's not, and we really could use it, but we're just not getting it. What we are getting, though, is smoke off these fires that's spreading across the entire country. You know, where was the hazy sunrise that we saw earlier this morning? That was
actually in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So we're seeing the impacts of this smoke across much of the country, the haziness, the air quality.
Excuse me. The air quality alerts in Reno area actually dealing with that because of the Dixie Fire. That smoke has now shifted into your area. Well, SpaceX rolling out.
You'll have to show them that video.
Show the video.
And then when they start, like,
right.
You'll know what's happening. Well,
time to talk tropics.
Yeah, and I was going to say, the tropics may seem like they've been really still, but that's not actually the case.
No, so after we got done with Elsa, July the 10th, we haven't had any other development. And interestingly, you have to go back to 2008 or 9, I forget which it is, to have gone through a length of time this long without development. Interesting, because I thought this is typical to not have development during this time. That was what was unusual.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it may seem, because I feel like last year was so busy. 2019 also, I think, felt like a busy season. But typically we would not see the C-name storm, which was Claudette this year, until August 13th. So we're actually still ahead of schedule.
Yeah, but we had it in June, so we're well ahead of schedule. When it comes to number of storms, names on the list, we're already at the F storm. Fred is the next name up. So is there any storm that has a potential? Well, as we get into August, not surprising, we're going to have prospects on the map here. This is just the time of year that it is, and it is not unusual at all to see a couple of circles on here with areas to watch.
And with those circles on here, I just want to throw this out here. You saw that with all the hurricane season we have left. If you're not already ready with your hurricane kit, go ahead and get it ready. You don't want to be waiting until the last minute. 2 areas that we're watching in the Atlantic Basin. It's been very busy in the Pacific Basin.
Yes, for sure. Luckily, none of those affecting land or threatening land. We go over here into the Atlantic. So this is our latest tropical wave. You can see that. Yeah, this one looks interesting. It's pretty broad right now.
Pretty broad circulation, but you can definitely see what they're picking up on. You can see why they're highlighting this. And this one has the higher chance of development.
I know, and I'm looking at this, and I know the other area that we're watching is right over here. But that looks interesting too.
That does.
Right in
There's
there.
quite a bit of swirliness happening out there.
So the satellite data is the best imagery that we have to look at the tropics at this point when you're out here in the Atlantic. So, you know, we've got the modeling, but you want to know what's happening right now. You look at the satellites, you can see where there's spins in the clouds, where there's convection or thunderstorm activity developing.
And of course, this is the MDR, the main development region. This is the time of year when we start to see this kind of bubbling up. We've got this with a low chance of development, not looking so impressive right now. This one, though, looking a little bit better.
60% chance. So this just came off the coast of Africa yesterday. We've seen it in the models with some prospects, right? And so we have this 5-day development area. It's right out here in the main development region, a spot that definitely, if it does develop, would keep us concerned. So this is why we're watching it. But there's some things working against it.
There definitely are some things working against it, and that is dry air heavily. You can see that. But still, the American model keeping that spin going.
Yeah, certainly something to watch based on that. The European at the moment doesn't have anything as strong, but still keeps a tropical wave out there. So we just know, if it's not one of these two that we're watching, there'll be another one. We're at that point in the season, so we'll watch every day for daily changes.
Yes, we will. So at this point, we want to revisit what you can expect as we move through the rest of your week. Friday, of course, coming to an end. We've got those showers again along the Gulf Coast in some places and across the Front Range.
Temps heating up, though, across the east, back to the upper 80s, even 90s. Humidity on the rise as well. It's going to feel like summer.